Good afternoon, fifth graders. This is your algebra, pre-algebra enrichment for math for week 5 and week 6. For these 2 weeks, we're going to pick up right where we left off last week. So we're going to spiral back to some of our pre-algebra and algebra skills in our kind of our warm-up activity. And I'll go over all the warm-ups for the week in one video. And you can just stop and start the video each day. Then we're going to have 2 lessons. One lesson will be Kumon lesson 23, which is 2 different pages in 24. And then Kumon lesson 25 and 26. And each of those have 2 pages as well. So you're going to be on your own to practice your problems. And then at the end of the first week, I'll have a video where we finish going over the problems and answer any questions. And we'll do the same thing after week 25 as well. And then finally, after each section, I am going to ask that you pause for a moment and answer an ERQ question. And I put them right in the middle of your packet so you can just work straight through. So there's 2 ERQ questions related to the concepts that you're covering at the beginning of the week. And then there is one ERQ question that has multiple parts related to some stuff that you're working on later in the week. And these are really your application questions, and this is how I'm really going to be assessing you. I did not assign you any of the 6th grade algebra standards on Khan Academy, but you can go in and just click on 6th grade course and click on percents. And in your percents, these are all the different activities that are listed that are covered by what we're covering this week. I didn't want to assign you anything because I definitely want you to focus on your 5th grade skills the most. But if you find something that you're passionate about, you can go ahead and click on it. Remember, we said that this skill, looking at percents, is one of those skills that you use in real life all the time. Because when you're at the store, you'll see something like 15% off or 50% off, or you'll be at a restaurant and you'll need to find 20% for tip. So this is a skill that you really do use a lot. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And these are going to be a little bit briefer than your other lessons. So your videos are going to still be about 15 minutes, but then you'll just need to practice each day, maybe 10, 15 minutes. So today we're going to start with a spiral review. I'm going to go over the distributive property. And I'm going to go over the first couple of days of warm-ups, and then you can just complete them on your own time. We'll check them at the end of the week. We're going to go over Kumon lesson 23 and 24, and then you'll have time to practice on page 46 today. And that's the expectation. All right, so we're going to just jump right in. And your algebra literally just goes in order. So we have our distributive property. We've talked about all of our different properties. So can you think of our other 2 properties that we talked about? Do you remember the property that says B plus C equals C plus B? So that's the commutative property. And then there's the one that has you move the parentheses. And I always remember it because the word associative has these little S's in it, and the S's remind me of the parentheses. They look like 2 little sets of double parentheses. But this one is the distributive. And the distributive property is just like what it sounds like. You distribute or pass out the multiplication that you're going to do. So on this one, I'm going to multiply both B and C by the same number. It's like I'm distributing the A to both of these variables. Remember, we're trying to use all of our algebraic vocabulary. And then this one is distributing the 3 to both constants, 2 and 5. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 2 and 3 times 5. 3 times 2 plus 5 is the same as 3 times 2, which is 6, and 3 times 5, which is 15. And this is going to be really key in solving 3 and 4 step algebraic equations. So that's why we're practicing it. Remember, we always practice our skills with either just letters or just numbers, and then we apply it to our really tough problems. So first, to remove your parentheses and you use the distributive property, you would combine like terms. We've talked about this a lot. What do we mean by something that has like terms? Well, it gave it to you right here. So it has a number variable or product of a number variable, and if it's a like one, it has the same letter. So for instance, if we looked at 2x, 3y, 4x, and 5, 2x and 4x are like terms because they have the same variable. 1 and 5 are also like terms because they are constants. There's no like term to match with y. All right, so let's give it a little bit of a practice, and then we'll move on to the next one. So our skill that we're practicing is I can solve algebraic equations by using things like the distributive method. So we're going to simplify by distributing, and remember, when there's no sign, that means multiply. So we're going to distribute our 2 times to both of our terms. So we're going to find 2 groups of 4x minus 2 groups of 5. Then we're going to distribute our times 3. So subtract 3 groups of -6, 3 groups of 5. So now we're going to go through and actually do our multiplication. 2 groups of 4x would be 8x. We've worked on this quite a bit. And then we copy our sign. 2 groups of 5 is 10. Copy our sign. 3 groups of 6x would be 18x. Copy our sign. 3 groups of 5 is 15. Now we need to collect our like terms. So 8x minus 18x is 10x. And we're going to rewrite the rest of our problem. Minus 10 minus 15. Now we can collect these like terms. Minus 10 and another debt of $15 is a debt of 25. Negative 10x minus 25. All right, you can also go backwards. So if you see 6 plus 10, you can think of 6 as the factors 2 times 3. You can think of 10 as the factors 2 times 5. And then you can pull out your 2's and just put your last numbers in the back. So we're going to do just a couple of examples, and then I'm going to let you practice the rest on your own. And so we went over this. This is April 20th, and then we'll also go over your April 21st and 22nd. We may get to 24th as well. All right, so here we go. We're going to distribute our times 5 to both numbers. 5 times 3 plus 5 times 4. I've passed it out to both numbers. All right, on this one, they already distributed it, so we're going to work backwards. So what number do they both have in common? 3 times. And we don't need to write times because in algebra, we just leave it blank, or sometimes they'll write a little dot. Okay, so what's going to go inside our parentheses? Well, they multiplied it by 4, then they added it, and then they multiplied it by 6. 3 times 4 and 3 times 6. All right, so I'm going to let you try the next two on your own. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 problems. On this one, you'll need to make sure that you distribute both parts of the equation. This one is very similar to the example up here, so you can really use it to help you. Now, you're welcome to do all your warm-ups together all at once, or to just do a little bit each day, whichever one you like. Okay, so 1 through 6 is Tuesday, and 7 through 12 is Wednesday. We're going to go ahead and just do one problem in each section to make sure that we're on the right target. All right, so we're going to start with this one. It says create an expression equivalent to the ones below. So first off, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 R's. So how many R's do I have altogether? 4 groups of R. Now it said in the beginning that it wants me to multiply each of those 4 groups of R by 4. So I have 4 groups of 4R. 4R plus 4R plus 4R plus 4R is 16 groups of R. And if you need to look up at the top, this is going to give you some help as well. I'm not going to go over all the problems up here because I think it's better if we just go over the ones at the bottom. All right. Now there's some tough ones. So let's look at 7. This one's pretty hard. I need to distribute my times 2. So first off, I'm going to write it out. 2 times 4 groups of S cubed plus 2 times 2. All right, so now I can simplify. I need 2 groups of 4s cubed. Now remember, this is a variable like anything else. Just think of it as apples, oranges, bananas, cats, dogs, puppy dogs, anything. If I have 2 groups of 4s cubed plus 4s cubed is 8s cubed. The variables just stay the same. We don't know what s is. We don't know what they're talking about. And we have 2 times 2, forget your sign, which is 4. All right, so your next group of ones, and we may run out of time to go over these, we'll just get as far as we can and then we'll pick back up on whatever day, is to work on 1 and 2, and then on Thursday do 3, and actually I think that's Friday, do 3, 4, and 5. So really not that many problems. And actually I think we're going to stop here because I see we're almost at our 15-minute mark. So I'll go ahead and post these on April 23rd. I'll go ahead and put this at the start of your algebra lesson, and you can go ahead and either continue working on the ones you wanted, you can jump ahead to April 23rd, or you can take a break from your algebra and come to our Kumon lessons. And your Kumon lessons, that's just the name of the book and the program that we're using. And you'll notice they look a little bit different. I did label them with the dates at the top, the page numbers at the bottom, and you can see at the bottom it does say Kumon, so that'll help you out. All right, I hope you had fun doing your algebra. I know that was a pretty tough activity, but you guys are so good at stretching your brains, so I can't wait for us to sit and do a little bit of algebra together on Zoom. Have a great day.